Good morning, beautiful people. How in the hell am I going to take my Amazon business from $20,000 a month to 50 and then to $100,000 per month? Well, in this video, that's what we're going to break down and talk about. And right off the gate, I'm going to tell you that I don't know the exact method of as far as what products I'm going to need to buy. But currently, I am doing $20,000 a month in Amazon, in my Amazon business. And I have another video if you want to watch it. It's how I went from $0 to $20,000 a month on Amazon selling DVDs. Okay, that's what I currently sell is DVDs on Amazon. And I went from $0 to $20,000 a month with DVDs in just 4 months selling on Amazon. It was something that I started. I just wanted it to be an extra side hustle, something to bring in some extra money so I could start slowly weaning my way out of junk removal, because that is what we currently do. Nothing wrong with junk removal. If you want to own a service-based business, if you like having a lot of employees, if you like the constant flow of jobs differing, if you like, what you're doing with junk removal or with what you're doing with your hands, then junk removal is a great fucking business to be in. You can make a lot of money and you can scale it to the moon. You have giant companies that are nationwide that are worth hundreds of millions, if not billions, like 1-800-GOT-JUNK. They're a nationwide and worldwide franchise. So there's, a lot of money you can fucking make from it, but it's not what I want to do. And so started the Amazon and it just kind of blew up. It was something that I really didn't expect to blow up so fast. Like I said, I just wanted to make a couple extra $1,000 like profit to help offset my bills so it wasn't so stressful. And so month 1 is just kind of the learning phase. Month 2, I'm starting to really get the hang of it. Starting to get sales. Month 3, I'm starting to get money coming in plus consistent sales. And note that as these months go by, I'm hitting new targets. So I actually misspoke in the other video, but I ended up doing like $1,700, $8K, $12K, and then $20K, hitting $20K my 4th month, starting from, and I actually need to go back and look at it. It could be 12, 15K, either way. Not to get too complicated, but I went from 0 to $20,000 a month in 4 months, from January, the start of this year, January 2025 to April 2025. And since then, to now is June, mid-June, and I am still doing $20,000 a month. Last month was slightly lower US-wide, but still did 19,000 global. The month before that was 22,000, so it averages out, and I'm on track to do 22 to 24,000 this month in June. And so I've kind of figured out what I need to do to stay at this current point. For me to stay at where I'm at, all I have to do is keep sending in DVDs. Keep sending in roughly 1 to 2 boxes a day. Obviously, 1 minimum is kind of the bare minimum for what I need to do to really hit the 20K mark in sales. And there's anywhere from 70 to 90 DVDs in each box, so you can do the math. 70 to 90 DVDs times 30, that's how many DVDs I need to send in every single month to keep my store flowing at this rate so it doesn't dip off. In order to increase that, if I send 2 boxes a day, that would be 60. If I send 1.5 a day, which would come out to 45 a month, that also would increase it. And that's kind of the range I've been in between. It's between 30 to 35, but if I up it to 45, which is totally possible with just me, I can easily get to the $35,000 a mark month. But is it really scalable? 1, yes. I could I could continue to get a shit ton of DVDs, figure out more suppliers, because we're already working on that. Like, I'm not just gonna stop selling DVDs, but you do have to keep the flow of DVDs running. And so I can definitely do that. Like I said, still working on some different methods to continue the DVD flow until I fully transition into what I will be talking about. But I can get the DVDs, I could hire some people or just one person starting out, and as long as I can get them on the same track of getting me a box to 2 boxes done per day, which is more than possible if that's their only job. They should be able to get three a day done. realistically, I could take this upwards to the $40,000 to $60,000 a month range, especially if I have them working on, if I had one person working on boxes getting me 30 to 40 out, and then I was able to get 30 additionally out, it'd be a no-brainer. Would definitely be at the $50,000 mark a month. However, it is more complicated to train people with DVDs. Not that it's impossible. There are people that have Amazon businesses that only sell used CDs, used DVDs, used books, etc., and you can make a ton of money from it, as I already am, and I'm super, super grateful, beyond grateful that God has blessed me. The thing is, there are so many variables along the way of, how, what of one, setting up the whole entire process from start to finish. Two, when someone gets a DVD and they're scanning it in, what if they're restricted? What if there requires approval? What do they need to do in order to get around that? Or where do they need to put the DVD? Next, how are they going to condition the DVD? And everybody can condition something differently based on what they view it as: new, used, like new, used very good, used good, etc. So having a definitive process for that can be kind of tricky, of like, this is used very good and this is used good, this is used new and this is new open box, etc. So there's a lot of little tiny details that can go into each one of those steps. That isn't really hard to train. It only takes a week or two for people to start getting the hang of it, but it can differ for each person. The only reason I know this is because I've had two friends start selling on Amazon, and both of them kind of said the same thing. The first month in general, learning the processes, learning how to really price and condition the DVD can be a little complicated. And then the pricing, having set parameters for what they price based on the data given, how many are listed, how often the unit sells, what the sales rank is, etc. And then the rest of the process is the easy part, from labeling. Even some DVDs might need to go in a poly bag, so you need to be able to train which ones do, which ones don't. So then they go poly bag, label, and then finish the shipment and pack up and ship out. So it's not really a complicated process. A box takes about 2 hours, 3 hours max, depending on the contents of the box. Sometimes they can be a little more tedious, but you're making anywhere from 200 upwards to 1,000, at least with the DVDs that I'm getting, in potential profit based on what I'm scanning in, which obviously is why it's incredibly worth it. Plus, the more that you front load, the more sales that you're able to get later on down the line, which is just stacking up, which makes it seem like you're making way more money than you are compared to the amount of work that you're putting in. So that's what I'm currently doing with Amazon FBA, selling DVDs, doing about $20,000 a month. So what is the next step? The next step, which I've already initiated, is going to be getting into wholesale. You can make tons and tons of money with DVDs, and I'm going to keep saying that. If you want to get started lower budget, lower cost, you definitely can make a ton of money. I have just made it to the point where I want to scale it to bigger numbers, and I want to make the processes simpler and easier. So what does this mean? This means that when it comes to the products that I'm going to start selling, I need to change the method of where I'm getting them, what type of products I'm selling, and how fast they're selling in order to really scale this to the next level. So, all right, well, to keep this video going, little side note, I was at the pool, and one thing I hate about the community pool is, like, I can't just fucking, it's not private. So I was in a flow state, enjoying talking, and then people have to come and fucking disrupt what I'm doing and shit. And then, anyways, very annoying. I can't even enjoy my morning. And so, anyways, back to what I was fucking talking about. And so, in order for me to really take this wholesale shit or this Amazon business to the next level, for me to really scale and grow and get to those $50,000, $100,000 marks per month, and I can do that still with just being myself. I don't need employees to do this, versus even to get to really the 50K mark, I'm either gonna have, with DVDs, I'm gonna have to be working, all fucking day, 8 to 12 hour days, which is not what I'm trying to do. I didn't start this business to become a slave. And, it's just gonna require way more inventory and hiring people. And so what I can do with wholesale is I'm going to be paying more per unit up front because it's more expensive to wholesale products. But once you find profitable products from distributors, then you're able to start buying those same products on repeat. So with DVDs, I might send in, 1,000 DVDs per week, let's say. Those 1,000 DVDs, maybe 5%, if I'm lucky, are going to be duplicates. The other 95%, most likely more, are going to be all different DVDs. So when you go to list them, you're listing 1,000 different units, or 1,000 different units. You're labeling 1,000 different units with different labels, so you have to go through and find the labels for the proper DVD. Versus, let's say I'm selling Old Spice deodorant. I get 1,000 units of Old Spice deodorant of the same style or same smell or whatever. I get that. Now I scanned it in. I'm only listing it one time instead of listing 1,000 different units. Then when I go to print the labels, I'm going to be printing 1,000 labels of the same exact unit instead of 1,000 different units or labels that I have to find the right unit to match and fit. So it not only makes it easier to scale, but it's easier to get more, or it not only makes it a faster process, but also when it comes to shipping in, but also I'm able to, once I find a profitable product, I can rebuy that same product over and over and over again, every single month or every 2 weeks or however often I need to order it in order to keep that flow of money coming in. Now, once I find one product and I start sending it, I start getting it on repeat and I start stacking up the bread. Along that whole process, you keep looking for more products. You don't just try to find one. Next thing you know, I have 2, then I have 3, then I have 4. Let's say I'm spending, let's say at a 30% profit margin, you spend 10,000, you make 3,000, so it's more cost upfront, but it's easier to, once you find those products, rinse and repeat. So you make way less margin, but you're able to sell those same products faster and faster and faster. So less margin, but faster volume. And then you're able to duplicate and double down on finding similar products or products in different niches. And the goal of this is you get to a point of you either find really profitable products and you find a few different ones and you're consistently getting those in and you're doing them FBM to where you're keeping more profit. You're getting the profit faster because as soon as you ship the label with FBM, you're getting that payout. It's available for the next reset of being able to pay yourself out. Versus FBA, you have to wait for the items to get into FBA. Then you have to wait for the item to sell. Then you have to wait 1 to 2 weeks for that order to fully settle, and then those funds become available to you. So it's a longer 4 to 6 week lead time to actually get the money for FBA versus FBM can be the same day or the very next day, depending on how fast that product is selling. Now, in order to do that, the first step is I've already gotten a website. I'm already switching over, learning about the methods. I already have a mentor. Realistically, what I have to do now and what I'm going to be doing today is I already have the email and everything I need to set up for this, for this business to start emailing wholesalers and suppliers, and I need to start getting accounts. Once I start getting accounts, that's when I'm going to be importing their products into a software. That is when I'm going to be scraping through the software, finding the products, learning more about this whole process, and praying that I do it right the first time. That's why I have a mentor and a coach, so I'm not trying to figure this out on my own. And so the goal is from here, within 1 to 2 weeks, we're just gonna say, I want to have ordered my first product or purchase order for my Amazon business from a supplier. And from there, it's a matter of just getting the products in, listing them, and starting this whole process and journey of wholesale. Once I start really finding a lot of products that are profitable in the wholesale method, that's when I'm going to really be able to slowly transition out of the DVDs and then just rinse and repeat with the systems. And then I'm going to be able to start selling way more product. I also will profit less per item, but being able to scale it faster and larger still with just being myself, I'm going to be able to start taking more profits per month than I am now with Amazon, even though in a grand scale of things, based on how much revenue I'm making per month or doing per month, much of a percentage of profit that'll actually be for me, it'll be less, 20 to 30% versus with DVDs is 30 to 50%. Even higher sometimes because you can get DVDs for so cheap. Again, it's just harder to scale. And so this is how I plan to take my business within the next 3 to 6 months from $20,000 a month selling DVDs on Amazon to the wholesale method of selling on Amazon FBA. And something else I forgot to mention too is with the Amazon FBA, once I start getting this really down pat, I can even take less of a percentage and send it to a prep center. They will have access to create shipments on my account only. You can literally order the products from the wholesaler, have them shipped to the prep center. The prep center can then prep everything and ship it to Amazon for you. At this rate, you're gonna be looking at 10 to 20% profit margins, so a lot less, but you can really scale that business to where you're completely hands off. And then you can even hire a VA to do the ordering and researching of the products to where you literally have a business running on autopilot. This takes a long time to do. I'm not 100% I'm not even remotely close to understanding how all that works. I just know it's what's possible, and you can go that method in Amazon if you so wish. And so that is how I plan to take my business from what's a very nice number, making 20K a month, and this month, I'm hoping to hit 24K. Those are nice numbers to hit monthly in revenue, and I am keeping anywhere from 6 to 10,000 of that these months. So it's been a great opportunity, but it takes longer to scale. It's harder to scale. It's not as fluid when it comes to creating systems and processes for it. And at the end of the day, it's really the only way to switch into wholesale is to really hit these $50,000, $100,000 months and really build a sustainable business with brand direct deals and wholesale suppliers that know and trust you, and that you're able to consistently get the products from on a regular basis, and you're not just guessing whether finding inventory on Facebook Marketplace or from thrift stores for DVDs and shit, or doing online and retail arbitrage by going to these grocery outlets and other outlet stores and buying shit cheaper at the store and selling on Amazon. You can do all of that. All of that is great. It's a great stepping point, but it's going to be very hard to scale to really hit these next level numbers, to really create the freedom that I would imagine most people would like to have in their life. They just don't have a plan or the process, or aren't willing to put in the work. And so the question is, are you willing to put in the work to make your life the life that you dream of? Because I fucking am, no matter what. So that's how I plan to take my $20,000 a month Amazon business to 50 to then 100K per month within the next 3 to 6 months. We'll keep you on the updates. See you later, gang.